Good morning, Trains Nation. Today is Friday, April 21st, 2017. Welcome to another episode of Trains Newswire Roundup. Welcome, I'm Steve Sweeney.
Hi, I'm Jim Wren, and boy, do we have news for you.
News and news you can use. I mean, there's so much great stuff going on here. By the way, this here is chocolate-covered bacon with salt sprinkles, which we are going to indulge in by the end of this broadcast. But you have to keep listening.
Eat it live.
Yes, we are.
On our show today.
Yes, we are. Well, okay. So let's start in Chicago, which is kind of close by. So Metro came out earlier this week after their monthly board meeting and said they're going to issue a request for proposals for as many cars and locomotives as they can get their hands on. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but with the money available, the state of Illinois is not going to help out anytime soon. They are going to try and get as many cars and as many locomotives to replace the old, I think, average age of equipment down there is 28 years, which is older than most of the rest of the country.
They've got a lot of equipment needs down there, and they're really big on keeping it in a state of good order because they know that it's reaching the ultimate part of its lifespan.
Absolutely, and they've got lots to deal with, lots of passengers, 700,000 a day, I think, and they've got lots of routes and got lots of snow in the wintertime, plus the wear and tear. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm watching that. I'm interested to see if the new Chinese car builder is going to step up and say, hey, we can do that too.
They're poised. They're ready to go.
Definitely could happen.
They're ready to go.
In the same breath, Metro also came out and said that they're going to allow pets on weekday trains in off-peak hours, which is kind of fun.
That's
so
pretty cool.
You could take Millie.
You could take the dog.
Take the dog down to Chicago
for a ride. She would love it too much.
Get in the vestibule.
Want a cab ride?
Yeah, really. Charger locomotives. The first Charger locomotive test out of Chicago happened this week. It was on the Hiawatha route to Milwaukee. It was not on the Hiawatha, but it was on a special test train from Chicago to Milwaukee and back. And it looks like they're going to be doing that again sometime soon on all the routes of Chicago down to Carbondale and St. Louis and Indiana and all sorts of places.
Are they familiarizing the crew? Is that what they're doing? They're giving the crew a chance to take these things out?
I think it's familiarizing the crew, but there's also a requirement in the test that all the locomotives be tested out on all the routes to make sure that they meet clearances. Make sure they meet clearances and test. It's a good idea because as much as you can measure, if you're 2 inches off, scrape.
It happens.
Yeah,
it's happened before.
Yeah, so
let's hope it doesn't happen here.
Exactly. So before they get a whole bunch, they're testing them out. So good news there. See the whole story on Newswire from Chris Gus this week. Also, interesting passenger Newswire story this week went up this morning from Bob Johnson. It looks like the Colorado legislature has passed its final hurdle to getting a group to bring back passenger service to the Front Range or to eastern Colorado. So from Pueblo on all the way up to Fort Collins and back again. Really pretty interesting.
That's pretty amazing because that is such a densely populated corridor now along I-25. The Front Range is just from Fort Collins through Denver all the way down to the Springs and down to Pueblo. It's just one big megalopolis now, and they sure could use an alternative to I-25.
And what a pretty route that would be too.
It's really nice. I rode Denver down to Pueblo back in 1997 on a UP excursion, and it's pretty nice, especially down there around Palmer Lake, on the joint line. And of course, my smart alecky thing is, to put a station on the part where the joint line is separated by either a few feet or a mile or more.
Yeah.
And do you have to put a station on both the northbound and the southbound routes?
Well, I would say no. I mean, just put it right there in Palmer Lake.
They won't do that. They'll go down to either Palmer Lake or the Springs.
Not even a rail fan stop?
Not even a rail fan stop. Oh. You can dash across the pasture or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, good luck on that. I think it's a natural extension from Pueblo up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at least to link Southwest Chief and the CZ. So Zephyr. Good. Speaking of Colorado, we've got a little bit of an update for you on the Colorado app.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. We've got this wonderful app. Tells you all about Colorado, all the attractions, great places to take train pictures. You can eat in railroad-themed restaurants. You can find hobby shops. Go find Caboose Hobby's new location.
Absolutely.
All those things in the Colorado app. Go on the trainsmag.com website and check it out. Download it on your smartphone. Take it with you. Plan your next trip. When you're out in the field, use it, key in something, and then go see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's not just anyone, we're producing this app. Our, Trains contributors, Trains editors have worked on this. We've taken pictures. We've actually gone to these places and said, this is okay place. This is a good place for rail fanning.
And it's on a great special. It's free.
Yes, even better.
Go
Can't beat free. And then we also have a Colorado trip later this year.
We do. We've got an excursion with our tour operators, special interest tours. It's in September, height of the aspen season.
Oh, beautiful.
Fabulous
Turning colors.
Yep. There's still space on that one. I did talk to the tour operator last week about our tours, and they said it's selling well.
Beautiful.
So go check it out. Also on the website.
On the website, trainsmag.com. Moving on, earnings calls this week. Bill Stevens up in the Northeast is covering all the Class 1 railroad earnings calls for us. First up was Canadian Pacific. They had another record low operating ratio, but only because they're able to claw back about $50 million from Hunter Harrison before he left.
Wow.
Interesting thing from Keith Creel, the new CEO at Canadian Pacific. Hunter Harrison did a lot of good things for the railroad, but maybe shouldn't have ruffled so many feathers. Quote, ruffled feathers. So I think that's a nice mild way to put it. Other people would say much more interesting, colorful things.
Yeah.
But the full story is up on Newswire. And then speaking of Hunter Harrison, he's in Jacksonville, Florida now.
Running CSX.
Running CSX Transportation.
They had their first earnings call this week.
Absolutely, they did. And they're doing well because of a lot of job cuts. Unfortunately, more than 1,000 people have lost their jobs in the past 12 months. A lot of routes have been cut. Two interesting things that I pulled out of this. One, Hunter Harrison said, doesn't matter what railroad you have, precision scheduled railroading could work. Even in a spaghetti network such as CSX, he says, what you do with spaghetti is eat it. Eat it? Well, I don't know how he's going to eat routes, but he also said that he's not an advocate for one-man crews.
I thought that was fascinating.
Surprised me.
Yeah.
Just absolutely surprised me.
He's always like, make things more efficient, more streamlined.
Right.
And that seems to be where the industry's headed. And he's saying, no, it might be more time consuming, if you need to replace a broken knuckle or, you're out in the wilderness or whatever, you got to do
Connect an
something.
air hose, yeah.
Yeah. And I have to agree with him there. I've said, that, sending big trains out, and especially now that we're into this big train theory of operations, it makes better sense to go ahead and just have two people on there.
Right.
These guys shadowing along in the trucks are nice, but I think having them on board is even better.
Yeah. When something happens, it's better to be there than 30 miles away.
Right.
Especially in mountain country.
Yeah. Then you got to wait. Then what do you do?
Yeah. You wait. But yeah. So anyway, so interesting. More stories from Bill Stevens coming up later this week and next week. So be watching for those. Rail fanning news. Haley Enoch, one of our correspondents, is up following Union Pacific's 844.
She's on the way to Boise.
On the way to Boise, Idaho. So check for photos and stories from her later today and early next week. She's going to be sending reports on that. There's a new Tennessee short line startup. I don't know if you saw that. Really cool story. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Read it. It's heartwarming. There's a railroader out there who spent 27 years with Class 1s and in consulting, and what he just wanted to do was go home and start a short line.
Have his own railroad.
And have his own railroad.
Nice.
So dreams can come true, Jim. One of these days
Nice.
it can happen to us. Did you see this one? There was the Department of Transportation in Maine resurrected a wheel set from a Boston and Maine locomotive.
I saw that. That's pretty crazy.
And they don't even know if anyone wants it, but they brought it up anyway.
Not. It's good parts.
How did that one? Did they go out and say, well, do you want it? No, I don't want it. Do you want it? What? I don't know. Someone will want it.
Somebody will want it.
I hope they do. I hope they do. And then Texas State Railroad Surface Transportation Board tentatively approved new operators, Western Group. So it looks like Iowa Pacific is close to being officially out as operators at Texas State. But speaking of Texas, Jim.
Yes. Next week, on Friday and Saturday, I will be back in my home state, North Carolina, down at Spencer. And that is when the restored locomotive Texas will be rolled out. So we're going to be live streaming that. Again, trainsmag.com. Go take a look there and join me for that live streaming event. You can see the Texas. NW 611 will be running around.
Will be?
Valley
They're going to run that too?
That'll be running around as well.
Wow.
You'll get to see all those locomotives. So Friday and Saturday of next week.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, the Texas is a Confederate locomotive.
It's a Civil War engine from 1856. So go take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Live streaming. For those of you who are interested, I know we talked about this last week. We had Metra tickets available. That is Metra special shop tour tickets for the Rocket House, old Rock Island shops in Chicago. Those are now sold out, completely sold out. But stay tuned to Newswire. In the next week or so, we're going to have a contest on Newswire and through our news updates weekly on how you can get some of your own very tickets. We've got a few reserved just for this contest, so be looking forward to that.
It's time to eat chocolate-covered bacon.
to
And
all of you.
wish you a fabulous weekend.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I like that.
We should do this more often. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care, guys.
The drama of modern railroading is nowhere more apparent than in Chicago. Trains Magazine takes you along for an up-to-date look at the Windy City's railroad scene with its new 60-minute DVD and special issue, Chicago, America's Railroad Capital. You will see today's passenger and freight operations in urban landscapes and bright suburban locations, as well as a look at the development of the city's rail network. Both are available January 2017 at KalmbachHobbyStore.com.